Okay, let's get started. So this is the first Cloud Provider Working Group meeting in 2018. Welcome back.
Yay.
So I'd like to start off first with getting an update from the people working on the CSI plugins for the various clouds, because when we spoke last at KubeCon, it sounded like that's the biggest bottleneck. I know Keenan's working on it.
Yeah.
Any updates, Keenan?
Don't have actual development to show really, but I've been working with Yassine on it. Yeah, actually, we haven't spoken in about a week, so we should sync up again. And yeah, there'll be a bit more updates in the storage meeting tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Walter, do you know if Jago is going to join us today?
I don't know. I would have thought he'd be here by now if he was, but I also know that he tends to be cutting it fine to get to this meeting, so it's not impossible.
Okay, so our biggest two concerns lately have been getting end-to-end tests through and also trying to push the CSI effort. I know a bunch of people are working on different things, so we can just go one by one with the people that are here and talk about what they've been working on, maybe. Do you want to get started, Walter?
Sure. So I've got a PR out to finally got the PR that adds the flags through, and that's merged. I've got a PR out right now for splitting node controller into IP and lifecycle. That's been reviewed by a few people. Hopefully it'll go in pretty soon, but I know it still needs to be reviewed by things like the node team, although they've agreed to review that. And that should help us on the way to making the control managers split. There's a little more work there, but I wanted to just get the node controller split itself done, and then we've got a couple of things to do with the cloud provider portion. The other thing I'm doing right now, which everyone should be aware of and ready for, is I'm adding context to cloud provider. So it's a pretty machine kind of change, but it's pretty broad in reach. I mean, it changes things. It ends up changing things like volumes and everything just because the context has to get propagated through. So that's what I'm working on right now.
So are you going to be passing context through to all the cloud provider methods?
Yeah, that's the idea, is just to set the context so that it's in the signature. I'm not going to make a change to actually use it in anything right now, but just making it available in every method.
Okay, so then like all the providers that are out of tree, they would have to like update all the interfaces to
Correct.
To the next version, right?
That's it, exactly.
Okay, Andrew?
I have not been. I mean, so I know last release there wasn't anything significant that we did that required any changes from me. So yeah, I've just been kind of watching and waiting for something. So like the DigitalOcean Cloud Control Manager is still alpha. So as soon as we push CCM to beta, I'll push the controller manager to beta as well. But other than that, I've just kind of been waiting.
So the one thing that's stopping us from going to beta is end-to-end test right now. We could certainly use your help with pushing the end-to-end test forward. I know Daniel's working on it, so maybe after he gives us his update, we can talk about how we can move forward with that.
Sure.
Daniel?
Yeah, so due to Christmas, I couldn't do so much, but I started to deploy a test cluster using Bootkube on an internal OpenStack cloud that we have. Also run the conformance tests on them. And what I did try to do today was to deploy Bootcube with the Cloud Controller Manager so that we can run the conformance tests on them, and then see how we can extend those tests. But so far, the test cluster is not yet working, but I hope to get it fixed tomorrow. Yeah.
Cool. That sounds great. Can you and Andrew work together on this and maybe get it pushed faster if possible?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I mean, I'm still basically building up the test environment, but I guess we can sync on that. And as soon as we both have test environments working, we can start to develop and also fix end-to-end tests.
Cool. Sounds good.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew has a lot of experience, and yeah, you guys should be able to get it done quickly, I think.
Cool.
I see.
So, sorry, just a quick question.
Right.
So are these end-to-end tests happening on like the Kubernetes like build servers, or are we doing the whole like each cloud provider runs their own pipeline, but then uploads events or uploads results up to some like main repository?
The second option. So last time we had the meeting, Jacob was explaining it. We were exploring different tools for it, but ideally what we're going to do is have a framework where different cloud providers can submit their tests, and also we can have webhook requests calling out to them when there's a change relevant to them happening.
Okay. So we're not going to wait till cloud providers run end-to-end tests to go to beta. Like we're just, as long as we can give people a method to report their end-to-end tests, then we can go straight to beta, because it's like we can't just wait forever for everyone to.
I agree, but I think the way we know that this thing works is at least having AWS or just one of the cloud providers on this. Probably. But yeah, you're right.
Okay, cool. And then, I mean, as long as we are developing, also, I think we are mainly running these tests manually. So yeah, I guess this we can also detail it out as soon as we have something working.
Cool. Okay.
Awesome. I see we have a new face here, Nick Turner. Hi, Nick. Is there a question you had today?
Hi, guys. I'm just, so I spoke with Walter in 2020, whatever last year was. And so I'm representing AWS and organizing the effort on our side. And if there's any, I know that there's probably a significant amount of work to be done in 2018, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. So I was just reviewing the proposal, looking at Walter's PR and trying to get a sense of what we're going to need to do. So if you guys have any more information that I should look at, or anything, then I'm all ears.
Oh, that's great. First of all, thank you for joining us. We're happy to have AWS presence here. Thank you for making this happen, Walter. So ideally, what we really need happening as quickly as possible is just follow what GC has done with having a CCM or the Cloud Controller Manager for AWS working. There are various moving parts to it. If you haven't looked into what the CCM is, I would start with just trying to create the CCM binary for AWS, just the first step. And then once that is done, you can reach out to me on Kubernetes Slack, or I'm sure Walter will also be available, where we can help you get started the next steps, like making sure the end-to-end tests are called, and then making sure that just any other concerns that come with running the CCM. So
perfect. So start with the CCM binary itself. Okay. And as far as you know, that there's nobody in the community that's working on this
for AWS.
Yeah.
So I know Keenan. Keenan's in this meeting right now. He's working on the CSI plugin for.
Yeah, I did speak to Keenan. He's CSI.
Right.
Yeah, we're working on the adapters for those volume plugins.
Gotcha.
Right. So yeah, if there's any questions, reach out anytime on Kubernetes Slack or email or on the working group. People are really helpful.
Great.
One question. So moving on, and I had a question for Walter. Walter, we were working on the KEP proposal. Is there any update on that?
So I gave, as far as I know, let me bug Caleb. Caleb Miles is supposed to actually just approve it and get it checked in so it becomes the official cap. And then, I figured I don't think it's actually quote unquote fully ready, but I think it's ready enough that other people can begin contributing. So I'd love to just get it checked in and then let everyone get in and add their pieces to it. And Caleb was supposed to get it sort of approved. So I'll follow up after this meeting.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think in terms of planning for the next week, I think we've gotten through all the different things. If there's anything else someone wants to bring up, we can talk about it. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much done.
Yeah, so I had two things. So Walter, just question for Google Cloud, do we have an out-of-tree provider yet, or are we still using the in-tree?
Right now, we're using in-tree. When I started this, I predicted that the hardest part of this whole thing was just going to be getting a repo to out of cloud put it in. I still don't have a repo. As soon as it's there, we can start moving on it. But I'm still trying to get that repo to exist.
Isn't Diego working with CNCF to get a repo? Do we know anything is happening? Okay.
Yeah, so that was my second question. If we're gonna do like a incubator repo, or we're just doing our own repos, or
I don't think it's going to be. I mean, it's a technical detail. I don't think it's going to be an incubator repo, but I do think it's going to be a CNCF repo per cloud provider.
Cool.
So is that going to be for everyone? Is that required, or would we be able to run that or have that repo in the AWS GitHub?
It's not a requirement. The gist of it was, and this is a question for your legal team, so I can't really answer it, but both the Google and Microsoft have concerns about running code written outside of our company that is technically owned by us. Just because then then there's some, we're taking on, I forget what the word is, but the legal term, but we're taking on risk that we'd rather not. If we basically leave it under the CNCF umbrella, and then just randomly happened to be that all of the contributors to that particular project belong to our company, CNCF continues the technical ownership, and legal is happy. But that's mostly just for our benefits. You are welcome to use that. You are also, as far as I know, welcome to have your project under your own repo.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else? I guess we're good. Happy New Year, everyone! Thank you for joining us. Next week, we'll hopefully see more progress on the end-to-end tests, Daniel and Andrew, and also we'll see AWS. Thank you for joining us, Nick. And all right, see you all next week. Bye.
See you.